I think one of the hardest things in life is being wrong when it comes to business, where you make a mistake and not only do you suffer on it, but people around you are suffering on it because you led the company, you led the direction of whatever you guys chose to do, and that direction was not good. And many times in business, you have to be willing to be wrong. You have to be willing to be embarrassed. You have to be willing to be someone that is yelled at and ridiculed by a lot of people, even though you're trying to do the right thing. Not every decision is going to be correct. And in today's episode, I'm going to talk about how to deal with your incorrect decisions, how to deal with your mistakes when it comes to business. So if you guys haven't checked out my channel yet, this is my business channel. Hit that bell notification, click the link down below if you ever want to join my private Discord where I give out my trades. This is not financial advice, but I just show you guys what I do in the market. And I really want to be transparent with what I do in business moving forward. I want to be able to show you guys the money that I'm making and the money that I'm losing, because I don't make decisions and they all go right. I am wrong many times. I was wrong today on a certain position that we had, which later ended up being right, but I was wrong about being right, if that makes sense. I took something and instead of me holding for a longer period of time, I decided to let go and take a loss on it. And ironically, I should have listened to myself, or more so, trusted my initial gut reaction, because this has actually ended up to be in my favor if I would have held that position. And it's hard to always be right. It's hard to always be someone that knows what the future is, because we can't predict the future. We can only react to it based off the information that we have from the past. So we are operating for the future with the decisions that we have from the past and with the information that we have from the past, with the emotions that we have in the present. So a couple things I want to say here. Number one, when you are wrong in life, you have to take it as a learning opportunity. And you have to understand that being wrong is just part of life, right? You're going to be wrong. You're not a robot. You're not God. You're not always going to be right. Everything that you do is going to have a percentage chance that you're wrong. And as you do it more and more, your reputation actually gets better. The respect you get from others gets better. But it's not always the case of you always being right more. You're still going to be wrong at certain periods of time. Think about your parents. Think about your elders. They're not always right. They're not always someone that has the best outlook or the best decisions or the best everything in every single situation, right? Sometimes they are completely wrong in different ways. And sometimes at the end of the day, you have to understand that their wrongness, even though they're older and they have more experience, is rooted in more experience. And that's what makes them not necessarily as wrong, but makes them someone that's guessing from a calculated arena. I think that being wrong, it's hard, especially when people are looking at you for advice, when people are looking at you to make the right decision, and sometimes you make the wrong decision. And I've been that person that's made the wrong decision. And I'm not gonna lie, like sometimes I have nightmares about it. Sometimes I think about those decisions that I made, and I just have to live with them, and I have to get better. And the nightmares have subsided, the pain of it has gone down, and it's become easier to live with my wrong decisions as I make more right decisions in an effort to outright that wrong decision, but more so learning from that wrong decision on how I can do better. I made wrong decisions in relationships. I've made wrong decisions in business, and I would be lying to you if I said that, hey, these didn't affect me and these didn't impact the way that I make decisions today. For example, I've ended relationships that I regretted ending at the time, but later realized that this was the correct thing to do, and I've implemented better habits and better factors in my life to help me find better people. I've become friends with people sometimes that aren't doing the right things, that are doing bad things behind my back, and I have to make sure that I regulate that in the correct way, and I have to make sure I do the right things now so that it doesn't get out of hand, or it doesn't spiral, or it doesn't get negative. And more importantly than anything else, it's not easy to deal with the anxiety of what if I'm wrong again? And I've also given myself forgiveness and grace to not necessarily hold myself to an extreme standard. I tell people like, hey, I'm not right all the time. I can be wrong many times. I'm not this God figure. I'm not someone that you have to pedestalize. I'm nowhere near perfect. Especially my trading, I make mistakes all the time. I don't always enter in the best position at the best time. I take losses. And any trader that thinks he's so good that, he's always right, they're a fucking idiot. I'm gonna tell you right now. My results and my percentage gains for trading are significantly higher than pretty much every trader I've seen. But at the same time, I'm the first person to tell myself that I'm wrong. I think that I'm very humble in the aspect of being able to admit that I'm not always right, and I still strive to be more humble every single day. And one thing I'll say is that I'm constantly putting in time, effort, and energy into bettering my decision-making process and picking better things. So you're not always gonna be right. And I think another part of not being right is understanding how to control the discipline of the decisions that you make. You have to follow a formula. You have to follow some kind of structure, which is going to help you avoid making mistakes. And even if you do make mistakes, if they're in the criteria of what your structure is, it's not necessarily your fault as much. It's more so you putting weight on that structure, on that formula, on whatever it is. When I trade on a formula. I trade on a system. And I look at the trades as very systematized, unbiased things. I don't do it off of emotion. So if something is matching my criteria for a trade, I'm going to go ahead and take that trade trade, I'm going to go ahead and make that decision. If something is matching my criteria for this is okay and this is not okay for what my standards and boundaries are, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And when I do it based off my criteria, I'm a lot more concrete and a lot more sure in what I do. And even when it doesn't go out my way, if it doesn't work the way that I want it to, I know that more of the time that I do it and I follow it, I'm going to be correct rather than wrong. Another thing I'll tell you that I've really done and implemented in my life is I've stopped chasing money and validation from others. I've started chasing mastery and legacy in my life. So I don't look at people saying, oh, you're right, you're this, you're that, you're clouded for being right. I don't really care about that anymore. I care about more so saying the thing that's actually correct and the thing that's on my mind that I really feel in my heart, my soul, my gut, and saying the things that nobody else wants to say, which is hard to do when the world is against you and the world does not want you to say tough truths. Another thing is I always want to be able to chase the mastery of something, especially with trading. Like, I don't chase the money anymore. I chase becoming good at my formula has allowed me to make more money and become more successful with trading. Trading is very hard because it tests your discipline. It constantly allows you to evaluate yourself, and you evaluate yourself on a market that's moving in so many different variables and so many different things, and you get news and you have to react to it. And so trading is not for the weak. But what I will tell you is that trading does make you a better person. It makes you stronger. Many times when I'm wrong, I try to control my wrongs and control my risk. In a lifestyle sense, you say you're sorry. You retract what you say. But in stocks, you just have to eat the loss. But when I am right, I try not to over leverage my rights. When I am winning a trade, I try to trim my profits. I try to make the money that I can make, and I try to get out, not necessarily as quickly as I can, but where I think is right and where I think is safe. So in life, it's all about controlling your risk, controlling your mindset, controlling your emotions, controlling your dopamine, and understanding that you can be wrong anytime. Every day, you're going to have something that you're wrong about. Whether it's the traffic, whether it's, you holding a cup a certain way and it starts falling, whether it's that your dog needs to go out and pee or he doesn't. Sometimes I take my dogs out, they don't got to go out. It just depends. And you got to be okay with being wrong. You got to be okay with being embarrassed. And you've got to be okay with taking the L's. And the better that you can handle the L's, the better that you can handle the embarrassment, and the better you can handle being wrong, the better you're going to be when it comes to winning. Winning and losing go together. They really do. They're closer than you think because losers have to lose in order to get motivated to win. And winners don't always win unless they have a mindset that they can lose. So both of these are two things that stick together, that work together, that gel together, but are on the opposite sides of emotion that you have to disregard when it comes to life. I hope this video made sense. If you have any questions, feel free to message me on Instagram. Click the link down below to join my group. And until next time, peace.